begin part 7 in this series on astral projection, I wanted to briefly speak with you about something that was on my mind today. In the beginning of this series, I talked about my process of leaving my body, and I gave some suggestions to hopefully help you along with your own process. But I was thinking about it. I have never really used any of the techniques that are out there. I've mentioned the rope technique before, but there are other techniques. There have been folks that have written books on how to leave your body, things of that nature. I've never done anything really, honestly, like that. The vibrations have always simply come to me. And of course, there's breathing involved and, meditation, things like that, things that I've learned to enrich my process. But the vibrations have always come. And I thought about it today. I really seriously thought about it. So many people out there in attempting to learn to leave their body, I believe, are actually chasing it instead of just allowing it to come to them. In a sense, what I'm saying is when I clear my mind and I breathe and that sort of thing, I allow the vibrations to come to me. I give enough space so they can come in. You see, this process is inside of us. It's a part of us. So why would you need to have to chase something that's already there? You don't have to chase it. It's really that simple. Just clear out all the, I guess I like to say all the clutter in there in your head, all the thoughts that are there, and allow it to come. Stop trying to force it. Stop sitting there and going, okay, I'm going to do it this time, and just let it come to you. It is a natural thing. But one of the revelations that I really thought about today was this idea of clearing your thoughts so that you can allow other things to come in, so that you can listen to the universe and listen to whatever communications are out there by spirit beings. I think it works. It's been working for me anyway. And if you've been having difficulty with astral projection and none of these techniques have been working for you, you might want to think about simplifying things a bit, clearing everything out, and just allowing it to come to you. So that's something that I was thinking about. I also want to mention that I am in no way saying that if you have a technique that works for you, that you should stop doing that technique. My philosophy is whatever it is that works for you, you should do that and take whatever it is that's out there and create your own process, something unique to you to be able to leave your body. So that's really what I have to say on the subject. Now, part 7 in this series in astral projection, and I'm going to continue to talk about exploring worlds beyond your apartment, beyond your neighborhood, beyond this 3D world that we live in now. In the last episode, I talked about how people are so connected to being around here, floating around perhaps their apartments or being in their neighborhoods, flying around, those types of things. In the beginning, it is a wonderful thing to do this, to explore your immediate surroundings is a great thing. But after a while, and more importantly, when you feel ready, it is also important to realize that there are so many other things that are out there to explore, other planes of existence, other worlds that are absolutely positively amazing. I gave you an example in my last episode where I went to this place and there was a Victorian home that was really tall, and there were these two ladies dressed in these long Victorian like dresses that were having a conversation, and I was observing them in this place. But that is only one example. I've also been to places that have had an extremely powerful impact on me and made me realize that there are places that are at a higher vibrational frequency that have such love in them and that are so powerful. It is overwhelming. Now, in one of my previous videos, I shared an experience where I had come to this place where the walls glowed of light, and there was this man, his eyes glowed, and he had such love inside of him that it was overwhelming for me to be there. I'd never felt that kind of unconditional love before in my life. It was amazing. But that isn't the only place I've gone to. And I haven't shared each and every experience on this channel that I've had yet. There are a lot of experiences that I've had in my life. And there was another experience that I had where I was curious. And this was before I had this sort of heavenly encounter with this angelic being. I had wondered what heaven looks like, or what that light looks like. And everyone's talked about the light when you either have an NDE, a near-death experience, or when, you die, you see this light. And that's something that many people have talked about. Well, I was so curious. I wanted to see it. And in one moment, I remember I came out of my body, and I came out of my body with the intent to see this light that everybody talks about. In a second, I was in this place. It reminded me of being underwater. That's the only thing I can really tell you right now with this. The first thing that comes to mind for me was it was as if I was underwater. And there was this light floating above me. That light that everybody talks about. It was brilliant, and yet it didn't hurt my eyes to look at. And from this big light, there were all these smaller lights that were shooting out and that were whipping past me. They were just going past me really quickly. Now, I don't know what those smaller balls of light that were coming out were. I have no idea. But it was beautiful, beautiful. And as I looked into the light, my fear of any fears that I may have had of death, because, even as someone who has left my body on many occasions, of course, the unknown is the unknown, and dying is the unknown. I've never died before, so I don't know what the exact process is going to be. When you can astral project, I believe you get a glimpse of things, but you honestly don't know what really truly happens because, well, you haven't died. So any fears that I may have had or any insecurities I may have had about death were gone after I saw that light, because there was such love, such unconditional love there. And I looked at it and I thought, I could go into that light and it would be fine. I'd be okay. Everything would be good. Of course, I knew inside that it wasn't my time to leave at that moment. It wasn't my time to go, so I didn't go. Instead, I came back into my body and I opened my eyes, but it was interesting. Lastly, I wanted to also talk about how to explore different worlds and go to different places. This was something I mentioned in episode 6. I talked about covering how to connect with your guides and using them as a resource. Now, it is very simple to connect with your guides. Once you reach that vibrational stage where you can leave your body, you can reach out to them in your thoughts. And if you ask them to, they will appear to you. Now, in my experience with my guides, normally I don't see them unless I ask. I will feel their arms around me if they're taking me somewhere. It's kind of weird. It's taken some time for me to get used to feeling invisible arms around me, carrying me from one place to another, which is why I've asked them to show themselves at times. As I've gotten more comfortable, sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I know they're there. I know they're always with me. But the thing you want to do is make contact with your guide first by reaching out to them in your thoughts, and then simply ask. Simply say something like, I want to see something cool. Can you show me something that's really cool? Let them come up with it, though. Let them take you somewhere where they decide to go, because they know all the coolest places out there. And I have seen some amazing places because I simply asked. I simply said, hey, show me something cool. Anyway, I think I'll end part 7 here, and in part 8, I will continue to talk about different worlds. In fact, I think in the next episode, I will talk about when I've asked my guides to show me something and they've taken me someplace really, really cool. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on another journey with me. And until next time, take care.